Good morning, everyone. Welcome to week 6 of Recruitment Blueprint. Where did that time go? I can't believe that we're on the final week of this 6-week program. It seems like we only just started it yesterday, or maybe not yesterday. But we're on week 6. Now, remember, there's a bonus session next week, so it's not quite the final one. But it's the final one in terms of this content, all right? The 5 different control processes that we've got. So I'm going to cover that. The bonus session, I'm going to tell you more about that at the end of this session, so please stay tuned. If you're watching a replay of this event, then definitely stay tuned right to the very end, because I've got loads of stuff to tell you. A couple of bonuses, a competition that I wanted to announce, etc. But without much ado, let's just get straight into this. I want to share my screen with you. Let me see if I can do that. Bear me just 1 second. And this should work. Now, I need to find out if you can see this. I'm going to presume that you can, all right? So I'm just going to go for this. So Recruitment Blueprint Live. Man, it's like, how much have we covered off in 6 weeks? I can't believe it. We've looked at the client control. We've looked at candidate control. We've looked at interview control and that process that you would control. We've looked at placement control, bringing the deal together, salary, the offer, getting acceptance, resignation and notice management. And then finally this week we're going to be looking at completion, or what I like to call post-placement control. Okay, couldn't get that on that final piece there, it was too small a piece. So completion or post-placement control. Now look, before we do, let's get straight into it. I want to tell you my Virgin story. Oh, looks like we've got the wrong slide up there. That's not the one I wanted to show you. It's Madonna, Like a Virgin, and there is a slight tie-in to this. No, that's the right slide. So I wanted to tell you about my Virgin story. Okay, I'm going to try and keep this as brief as possible. Remember, completion control and controlling the placement is all about customer service. I want to give you a story. This is a true story. Some years ago, I planned actually for a long time. It was like I've been several times now, but at the time I can't remember actually. Was it my first trip? I planned to go to Florida. And I planned it for a long while. It was a massive trip for me. What I wanted to do was fly out. So 9 months in advance, I booked flights with Virgin. I got them to sort out my hotels, my car hire, and everything. Flew out, journey down to the Florida Keys. Did the whole kind of Orlando thing and Universal and Disney and Florida Keys. I had a fantastic time down in the Keys, driving through in my tiny little rental car. It was the smallest one that I could afford. And but the highlight of this whole trip was I was due to get into Miami on New Year's Eve. I wanted to stay at a specific hotel. I think it was called the Delano Hotel. Is it a Schrager Hotel? I don't know. Okay, so it was this beautiful hotel that I'd read about and I'd seen, and I'd seen pictures of it, and I just really wanted to stay in this hotel. So and also what was doing, this was New Year's Eve, so I'd arranged for 2 or 3 friends of mine to also meet up with me in Miami for New Year's Eve. A couple of them were flying in from the UK. One of them was living there, and we got tickets to the best club in Miami for New Year's Eve. It cost us a fortune, but Madonna was going to go. It was rumored that she was in Miami. It was like the place that she frequented. So we were like, yeah, this is going to be like great night. Anyway, the trip was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Orlando and all that kind of stuff, and the Keys and everything else. I think I did some diving in the Keys. It was fabulous. But then I arrived, I got in my car and I arrived in Miami, outside the Delano Hotel. I was really embarrassed to pull up my car This was like one of the most expensive, chic, hip, whatever boutique hotels out there. Pulled up outside the Delano hotel, left my bags in the car, and walked into reception. I'm like, yeah, I've arrived. Walked up to reception, and they said that. I said, oh, they said, what's the name, sir? You got a reservation? I said, yes, my name's Roy Ripper. I'm always slight trepidation whenever I announce myself at places, but it's like, yeah, Roy Ripper. And they were looking through the register, looking through the screen or whatever, and there was a lot of kerfuffle going on, and someone else was called over, and I said, oh, is there a problem? They said, well, Mr. Ripper, we can't seem to find a reservation in your name. So I went, okay. So I said, so what happens now? They said, okay, well, don't worry about it. I'm sure it's a mistake. I said, well, look, I've got all the paperwork here. It's Virgin. It's a Virgin holiday. They booked the whole thing for me. I booked it 9 months ago. This is my dream job. I can feel the tension rising in me, but I kept it. It's like, okay, no, it's New Year's Eve. It's all going to be fine. I'm sure it's just a paperwork glitch or whatever. Anyway, it was like, anyway, they said, look, we can call the local Virgin rep. I said, no, please do. I think that'd be really, really good. Let's get the Virgin rep on the phone. So this really, really pleasant woman came on, and she said, Mr. Ripper, there seems to be a problem. I said, you're damn right there's a problem. She said, the problem is that I can see that you have got a booking with Virgin, but she said the Delano Hotel are telling me you don't have a reservation. She said, look, until I can kind of get this sorted out, we just need to do something. I said, well, I'm booked to be in the Delano Hotel. I said, I booked this 9 months ago. I said, I don't care if I'm going to sleep in reception. I am staying at the Delano Hotel. I've got tickets booked for New Year's Eve. My friends are coming. I was like, oh, so the panic was rising. Anyway, she was brilliant. She said, look, Mr. Ripper, I'm going to jump in my car. I'm going to get to you, and we will sort this out. I promise. That's okay, Anne. I trust you. The Delano were very, very sweet. Great hotel, by the way. They sat me down with a welcome cocktail. I had 2 or 3 of those. And then Anne arrived, and Anne said to me, look, I can see has been this almighty cock-up. She said, the problem is, Mr. Ripper, that the Delano Hotel, it's New Year's Eve, they are fully booked. I went, what do you mean fully booked? I booked this 9 months ago. She said, they are fully booked. There isn't even a single room that they can give you, I said, okay, and I've got people arriving here for drinks in about an hour. What am I going to do? I've got tickets booked for Madonna at this private party. It's going to be, like, what am I going to do? She said, Mr. Ripper, look, don't worry about it. What I've done is I've got you a room, oceanside, a really, really nice room at a hotel. It's just, like half a block or a block away from here. I said, Anne, I don't want to stay anywhere else. So it's like, I want the Delano. She said, look, Mr. Ripper, let's just do this, okay? Let's do this. As soon as we can get New Year's Eve out of the way, I'm going to, I'll be working anyway. I'll get this sorted out for you. I said, Anne, I don't really want to do this. She said, look, do me a favor. Let's go in a cab now. Let's leave your car here. Go in a cab now. Let's look at this room. If you like it, do that. She said, anyway, we went. It was beautiful. It was oceanside, and with Anne, they showed me a really nice room. But whilst I was there, I'm like, okay, they have really screwed up. Okay, someone has really screwed up. It's not Anne, but someone has really screwed up. I don't care who it is. So I asked the receptionist at this other hotel, is this the nicest room that you have? And he looked nervously at Anne. He said, well, there is the honeymoon suite, but unfortunately, Virgin haven't authorized that type of upgrade. This is like, I don't know how much it was, but it was thousands of bucks that night. Anyway, I said to him, can you show me the honeymoon suite, please? I went, okay. And Anne was like really nervous. I said, yep, this is the one that I want. And it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It was like an apartment. It was first floor. It looked over Miami Beach. I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna not have my dream hotel, I'm gonna have the next best thing. Anyway, Anne was like, okay, yes, let's do. She said to the receptionist, whatever we need to do for Mr. Ripper, please do, right? I said, Anne, we've got a problem because my rental car is due back today, my tiny little rental car. She said, oh, don't worry, we'll sort that out for you. We'll get a replacement. I said, Anne, I don't want just a replacement, all right? Because I'm looking outside and thinking this really tiny little Ford is not really going to. She said, okay, well, look, we'll get. I said, well, can you get me a nice car? I said, because basically I'm going to have to go to the Delano now, and have to explain to all of my friends why I'm now not staying at the Delano, and all that. She said, look, don't worry about it. I'll sort out cocktails at the Delano for you. We'll arrange for your car, your hire car now, to be picked up and another car dropped off for you. I said, okay. Anyway, cut a long story short, I looked out the window about, I don't know, 2 hours later. My tiny little car had gone. There was a brand new convertible Ford Mustang, a proper car for Miami, parked outside, top down, beautiful, right? Went to the Delano Hotel, cocktails all night, blah, 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 until we were able to go to the party. Madonna was there, everyone was there. I didn't know who these people were, but it's like it was an amazing New Year's Eve night. I stayed in this wonderful hotel. I didn't actually move to Delano because I loved the room that I was in so much. I had a fantastic time. And the story doesn't end there, all right? Because if that's just a story about good customer service, fair enough. Let me tell you what happened. I got on the plane to go home after a great holiday in America, and the purser, head stewardess, chief stewardess, whatever, came up to me and she said to me, are you Mr. Ripper? I said, yes. I'm like, she said, would you like to come with me? And I'm like, oh no, what's happened now? I'm not going to get out of America. There's something wrong. And she walked me to the first class compartment and sat me down in first class. I had the most amazing experience with Virgin Airlines or Virgin Atlantic I've ever had. And I've told so many people about that story, not because of, wow, look at all these things that I got, all right? It was, wow, look at what Virgin did. There was an almighty screw up on my booking. Now, I actually don't think it was Virgin, but from Virgin's point of view, I was their customer, I was their contact, and they did everything they could to put that right and some. They went over and above. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. I want you to look at this final piece of our jigsaw, controlling the deal, placement control, post-placement control, and I want you to put together a checklist, all right, a checklist of things that you do when your placement's finished. All right, so once the candidate, like the offer's been accepted, once the placement's finished, what do you do? Now, you may say, but Roy, you know what? We get paid to make introductions, and you're right, you do. You get paid to make introductions. If you look at your T's and C's, your terms and conditions of business, that's what it will be. Our fee at whatever percent is for the introduction of a candidate that starts with you. And you know what? 99.9% of our industry will go, job done, move on, next. It's what I used to do. It's what I used to do in the first 2 or 3 years of my recruitment career. It's exactly what I used to do. Bum on seat, next. Bum on seat, next. And I used to do that. That's not good enough. It wasn't good enough then. It definitely isn't good enough now. You guys, what I want you to do, remember I said this to you really early on in our 6 weeks together, I want you guys to set the bar for how recruitment should be done globally. All right, I want you to set the bar. I want you to be the standard that all other recruitment consultants are judged against. I don't want it to be about putting a bum on a seat. If you're going to do that, go and work for somebody else. Go and work for a company that doesn't really care. Your company cares. They care, and you don't want to just be that person that places a candidate, moves on. Be remembered, and that's the other thing. If you make placements, it's like, people go, wow, that recruiter's good. But you'll get remembered for good matches. You'll get remembered for exemplary customer service. You'll get remembered for going the extra mile. And that's the key thing. You want to be remembered. All right. So look, let's put together this checklist. I've got some suggestions for you. I want you to add these to your, let's call this the final checklist or the final countdown. We should have that, is it Van Halen? We should have that music, the final countdown playing. put together a final checklist. I'm going to give you some ideas. Add in any ideas that you and your company can put in that makes this list uniquely yours. But let's start doing this. The first one I want you to do, verify with your client that the candidate's offer acceptance letter has been received. All right. Ask your client, has the acceptance letter been received? Now, last week I told you about, in the last session I told you about, when you make the verbal offer to the candidate, your candidate, get a verbal acceptance, but also get them to send you a confirmation email. Do you remember that? Subject to offer letter, subject to contract, I formally accept the position, made to me by the offer made to me by Roy Ripper. What I want here is, this is different. This is when your client sends an actual offer letter. All right, so it's part of an offer letter is part of a legal commitment to engage. All right, it forms part of their contract. So when that it gets sent, and remember, you're going to control that process. Well, when is it sent? Can I have a copy of it? All that kind of stuff. But when it gets sent, what you want to do is make sure, candidate, have you received it? Brilliant. Have you accepted it? No? Okay, you need to write a letter formally accepting that position. And you need, part of your checklist, guys, is to make sure your client's received it. Another point I want you to have in your checklist, I won't number these, all right, just in case you've got different numbers and you've got different things, but these are the things you want to include on that checklist. Reconfirm the start date for the with your client. Reconfirm the start date of your candidate with the client. When do you want this candidate started by? Make the adjustment if you need to, in terms of, like, well, the candidate's notice period has been cut shorter, or they're on gardening leave, but the clients said no, that's fine for them to go to work for you 2 days early or 2 weeks early. Reconfirm the start date with your client. Ask your client, who should I send the invoice to? Who should I send the invoice to? And you should also ask them, who's responsible for approving the payment? Who's responsible for approving the payment? And just one more on this as well. You tell your client to inform, tell your client that you need to inform your accounts receivable in your company when payment can be expected, and ask for the date. All right. Now, these 3 things that I've given you, I know some of you are out there going, yeah, but Roy, that's not my job. It's not my job. We've got credit control in here. Or that's not my job. The manager does that. Or that's not my job. The managing director does credit control and gets payments in. I don't care. I don't care if it's not your job. What I want you to do is do this process the best that you possibly can. If you can make your credit controller's job easier, do it. If you can make your manager's job easier, do it. If you can make your MD or your director's job easier, I can see all the directors around the table there going, yeah, make it easier for me. I want you to make it easier. This is really best practice I'm giving you. That's what I promised. That's what I'm delivering. So remember, we asked them, who should we send the invoice to? Ask them, once it's in there, who apart from yourself, Mr. Client, has to approve the payment? Okay. And then finally say to them, when can we expect to be paid? That's not bad things to ask. And it's a lot easier for you to ask before the candidate started, before the invoice has gone out, than it is for your poor administrator or credit controller or your poor director to have to do it once the candidate started. Because once the candidate started, those people will tell you, they get the runarounds. Like, oh, we haven't got a copy of your invoice. Oh, Sue's on, she only comes in like 1 day every 6 months. Not really. Sue's only in 1 day a month, and we're on a check run, and we got 90 days payment. So you don't want that for your people, right? Because trust me, if your credit controller can't pull it in, all of a sudden, things like commission payments, it's difficult, really, really difficult. This is best practice, cash flow, credit control, etc. It's you doing the job, all right? You doing the job, all right? Okay. Sorry, just on that last point about ask from a date in terms of when can you expect to be paid, I'm going to go one stage further. What I'd say to you is remind your client of the payment terms that you agreed when you signed the deal. All right. Now, why should a client worry about payment terms? What's the biggest leverage that you've got in your arsenal for getting paid on time? Think about it. That's right. Your payment terms are linked directly to your guarantee or your rebate periods. Okay? So what I think that you should do at this stage, I think it's your duty, all right? Good customer service. I think it's your duty just to point out to your client that, Mr. Client, look, candidates, about to join you on this date, whatever. I do need to remind you that you have a guarantee period, a rebate period. This is what the rebate period is, and I want you to sell it positive. I don't want you to sell it as like, oh no, you've got to pay the invoice on time. Look, you've got guarantee, okay? If that candidate isn't right for you or drops out of drops out of your employment within 12 weeks or whatever the rebate period is, we'll give you some money back. However, the only stipulation, in order to qualify for that rebate period, the invoice must be paid within our payment terms. And Mr. Client, the reason why I'm telling you this is, I had a client a couple of months ago who the candidate, candidate dropped out, whatever, sort of personal reasons. The candidate, dropped out after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and phoned me up, and by rights, it's like, should have had a rebate, X% or whatever. But what happened was that our credit control department, our finance director, kicked it back because the invoice wasn't paid on time, and I don't want that to happen to you. Okay, so just remind the client of the positive aspect of the positive feature of your service is that you've got guarantee. But in order to qualify for that guarantee, in order not to lose out on that particular benefit, you have to make sure that the invoice is paid. So who do we need to talk to make sure that happens? Right. Depending on the situation, look, if your candidate's really senior, I always advise the client, you know what, get together with this person, get together with this woman and maybe your husband, bring your wife, but get together and have lunch or an informal dinner, an early supper, whatever. But get together with them. Get the candidate and their family feeling like they're already working with you. All right. So make it a social thing. It's a really, really good way of bonding with your brand new employee. Now, that's only relevant if the candidate's senior and the situation warrants it. If that doesn't happen, if the candidate's too junior for that, at the very least, have the candidate's new co-workers meet with your candidate for lunch prior to them starting. And I wouldn't make a big thing of it. Lunch is always good rather than preferred rather than evening drinks. Evening drinks, I think I told you last time, can lead to a bit of difficulty. So just, look, hey fella, you know what, on a Friday afternoon we all go out for lunch. One company I know, they always used to go to, I shouldn't be telling you this, but a recruitment business used to go to a pub, and it wasn't to get sloshed on a Friday afternoon. They were really into pool, the boys and the girls that just loved playing, and they used to have like a weekly pool tournament. And so for new people joining them, they say, oh, look, come down and join us on Friday afternoon. We get into the pub. We don't drink alcohol, but we play pool, and it's a really, really fun thing. It's like get the candidate feeling like they're working with you prior to them working with you. This is all on your checklist, by the way, so I want you to make notes of these, put them on your checklist, add whatever in that, add in whatever's relevant to you. Ask your hiring authority, ask your client to send any pertinent, what word? Pertinent company literature to the new the new starter's house prior to them starting. So remember, again, I told you last week, company brochures, company handbook, rules and regulations, anything, the ops manual, anything that the new starter can read before they get to work there. So get them out. What can you send them? One of the things that I used to try and do was call into my candidate's home at some stage during that notice period. And if I'm being really honest, I never used to orchestrate it, but I'd phone in perhaps at a time when I might have known that the candidate wouldn't have been there. And the objective of that call, so this was a scheduled diarised call for me to make. The objective of that call was to speak to the spouse of my candidate, the significant other. So, and it would be someone, that I've got to know that detail from my candidate. So, I'd ask my candidate, what's the name of, if I do call for you in the evenings or at home or whatever, who's likely to answer the phone? Husband, wife, partner, significant other, whatever. And they'd say, oh, it's John is my husband. Okay, brilliant. So when I phone in, I say, oh, hi, John, it's Roy Ripper. If there's any recognition, I hope there would be, I've just found John's partner a brand new opportunity they're about to start with. I would hope that John would recognise the name Roy Ripper. I'd be just trying to take a temperature of what the situation's like in their house, and what I mean by that is, how are they both regarding this brand new opportunity for the candidate? How does John feel about it? Now, the reason why all of these things, by the way, these aren't just, I pluck them out of, I don't know, theoretical textbook or whatever. Every single one of these points I've refined over 27 years of recruiting, of me doing the job and failing, mostly, of me working with some of the best recruiters in the world and coaching some of the highest grossing revenues consultants in the world, asking them what's their best practice. And I've been the thief of good ideas, but a lot of this is based on mistakes that I made as a recruiter and then what I did to fix it. This particular one, I've got to tell you, why do you speak to spouse? People go, well, why do you talk to the partner of the person? It doesn't really matter, does it? Well, it did in this case, yeah. I placed a candidate. In fact, sorry, I got an offer for a candidate, and it was a great offer, and it was over his thing. It was a relocation, admittedly, so I should have seen the red flag there. But the candidate said to me, yeah, no, I accept it. Brilliant. Verbal acceptance, great. Can you get out the written confirmation of the offer? I was like, yeah, got my client to do that. I then had the candidate, I phoned the candidate, brilliant, have you received the offer? He said, yeah. He said, but there's a problem. I went, okay, what's the problem? He said, my wife has said no. I'm like, sorry, what do you mean your wife has said no to what? He said, my wife has said no to me taking the job. I said, what do you mean it's like your wife said no to you taking the job? He said, well, my wife doesn't want to move, and my kids don't want to move. Okay. Could I just ask, when did you tell your wife about this interview process that we started, maybe about, I don't know, 8-10 weeks ago? He said, I didn't tell her. He said, I didn't tell her till we had the offer because I wasn't sure, I wasn't sure where it was going to go. I'm like, that's outrageous. So you went through all of these interviews. It was 2 or 3 interview process. The client, I don't know, took them out to the region or whatever. It's like wine and dine. You didn't talk to your wife at all. He said, no. And I went, do you know what? Too right she don't want to move. The wife didn't want to move because the kids were in school, doing really, really well, had their friends. She had her friends. Like, why on earth would she want to move? Now, was I at fault because I hadn't checked that part of it? Yeah, absolutely, and I built that into my process. This guy, though, was he at fault for not talking to his wife about anything that he was doing in his life? Damn right he was. So I built into my process checking in with spouse, checking in with partner, just getting a temperature or a feel for the pulse of my deal by checking in. So that's where all of these things are coming from. I also want you to put into your list, I suppose, if relocation is part of it, but actually relocation is irrelevant as well. I don't know, telling your client to put out some kind of welcome wagon, all right? It's like getting the staff in the place excited about this candidate coming to work there. This is really critical time. If you've ever been the new person, I'm sure most of you have, the new person in a brand new job, it's nerve-wracking. Absolutely nerve-wracking. You feel like the new kid at school, and you're nervous. So what I do is I try and say to my clients, like, look, you and your team need to make my candidate and his or her family feel really welcome. Anything you can do, anything that you can do. One of the things that I'd like you to do to maybe set yourself out is send some kind of gift. Now I've put up here champagne or wine. It doesn't have to be a gift that you spend lots of money on, all right? It's not that. It's a token. I know some people that don't send a gift. They'll send a thank you card. All right, they'll send a thank you card. They'll send a congratulations card, but they send it to the candidate's house, to the candidate and his or her spouse, their partner, their significant other. So, dear Jane and John, please accept this small gift. Or dear Jane and John, congratulations. I'm really, really pleased for you guys. Just something that marks the occasion. Because when they're sat round having dinner with their mates that weekend, I want them saying, hey, you know something? When everyone else is slacking off recruitment consultants, like, oh, they're bloody recruiters, and trust me, I go to dinner parties where they do that. I want, your candidate to be the lone voice that says, you know what, actually, my recruiter's really good. Let me tell you about her. This is how professional is. This is what she's done with me during this process. And you know what? She's placed me. I've got a fantastic job. I even got a card from her this morning congratulating me. It's like awesome. All right, awesome. You want to make them feel special because they are. I don't know about you. If you're making, thousands and thousands of placements, and you're not phased or whatever by the level of your success, then brilliant. Don't worry about this. I don't know about you. I like to encourage more of that behavior. I feel like if I put good stuff out, more good stuff comes to me. Karma. So I like putting this stuff out. This is vital, right? Stick this down on your list. If a candidate was a referral, call the person that gave the referral and thank them. Thank her, thank him, thank them. As a profession, we don't do this very often. I'm saying to you, call the referral giver. I tell the referral giver, hey, listen, I just want to say thank you. I'm so, so pleased. John, the person that you referred, John is just about to start a position. Why don't you call him and wish him well on his brand new opportunity? Because he should be thanking you too. It's like you put him up for this. Now, referral givers love giving referrals. Not actually, people go, oh, it's all about the referral fees and the finder's fees. For a lot of people, it's not. It's actually about the kudos that they can say within their network. You know what? I'm a fixer. I'm a matchmaker. I put people in touch with people. See that guy over there? I got him that last job. See her over there? I got her last promotions, 3 promotions. So a lot of people do referrals and give referrals not for the bucks that they'll get out of it. If you've got those, then brilliant, send them. But actually they'll do it for the kudos. And if you can remind them, actually, you know what, you did really well here. As a result of your referral, John's really pleased. He's joined this company in about a week's time. Phone him. He'd love to hear from you. Of course, it goes without saying, ask your referral if she's got anyone else that she would like to help. Keep chasing it, right? Always. Remember, my number one mantra as a recruiter, it used to be written up everywhere around my office, is who do you know? Who do you know? Not do you know anyone? What does that get you? Yes, no. Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? That needs to be your favorite question, your mantra, okay? Talk to your referral giver about any other jobs that you got, your hot jobs. Talk to them about, hey, I've got this great candidate, who can I talk to? Referral givers are really I love them because they're network people that you want to be in touch with their networks. Remember to do the same with anyone who gave you a reference on your candidate. So references, phone those guys too. Keep in touch with your candidate and their spouse until the last day on the old job. If you don't already have it, this is a headhunter's trick of old, but if you don't already have it, now is the time, because your candidate is most grateful, all right? They're most grateful when you've just made the offer and before they've started. Once they've started, their memory starts to wane. It's like, sorry, who are you? Oh, yeah, the guy that, you were the recruiter that I spoke to. They don't say, you were the guy that found me this fantastic job and got me a 20% increase in my salary. They don't remember that stuff when they've joined. So this period before they've joined is the time to ask them for stuff, all right? And the stuff in this instance is an org chart, a family tree, or a directory of people working in their business. And just a tip for you, one of the things I used to do is I used to try and get to meet the candidate to receive this from them so that we could go through it. And my pitch with them, whatever, was, look, the company you're leaving, all right, I know that you're really keen to get started with my client, so their loyalty is with the new client, not with the company they're leaving. The biggest way that you can thank me, John, is, have you got a company directory or a family tree or an org chart? Yeah. Well, look, how about we get together for coffee next week? Let's do it on the Tuesday. I know we're due to speak on Tuesday morning. Why don't you pop in, have a coffee with me? Let's go through that, and maybe you can highlight for me the stars within your existing company that I should be looking out for. Okay, so the superstars. Give me the people, not who's looking right now, I'm not interested in that, but people that you really rate in your business, that, if I receive contact from them, I should really, be eyes wide open, ready to receive their call. So it's a really, really good one to do. Too few people do it. If you haven't got any org charts or company directories on businesses within your niche now, that's fine. You've got 0 right now. Do this one initiative, and then let's talk in 12 months' time. Let me know how many you've got at that stage. This is gold for you if you have to resource candidates, or for your resourcer or resourcer if they are finding candidates for you. Give them this information, highlighted or not highlighted. Give them the list, give them the org chart, give them the family tree. Okay, what else do I want you to do on your checklist? Call HR. What does it stand for? No, not human remains, human resources. Call HR or your client contact the first day of your candidate's work, the first day they start, to verify that they've turned up. All right, call them on the first day. Follow up with your client and your candidate by phone several times during those first months. I know most of you will do it just for the duration of the rebate period, so I don't know, 12 weeks or whatever. But I would say to you, schedule them for the rebate period, but also beyond as well. Just checking in. So if most of your rebate periods are 3 months, I'd say to you, during the first 3 months, check in with them once every couple of weeks, or at least at the very least once a month for the rebate period. But thereafter, put a call through to them at the end of every quarter, or 6 months afterwards. Just check in. Remember what I said, you are paid for making introductions. You are paid for that. It's fine. That's a bum on a seat. You are remembered for the quality candidates that you match in there, and for the placements that stick. Those are the ones, the superstars that you place, that people go, wow, Roy Ripper placed those candidates with us, and they're still here and they're rocking and rolling. It's like, look at the quality of these people. Those candidates will remember you. Remember that guy that came up to me years after I placed him, and Roy Ripper, you changed my life. It's that type of, and I wasn't really that special in those days, so I was quite fortunate to have got that call. But you change people's lives, so keep in touch with them. Just making sure that the adjustment period, the induction's going well. But here's another reason why you should keep in touch with them. Yeah, really another reason for doing it. You guys change people's lives. We've got that, all right? But one of the difficult things that I hear from candidates and clients alike is they'll say to me that, you know what, that recruiter was so good. It's like I got really close to him or her. They were brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. They managed my process from start to finish. As a candidate, I've never felt so special. I really felt special. I felt like I was on a pedestal. I felt that, every part of the process was managed really, really tightly, and my interests were, at the forefront. But you know what? The recruiter's not called me. They placed me. It was brilliant. And the client says, recruiter made a placement with me. Didn't speak to them again. Oh, they called me 6 months afterwards, but didn't keep in touch. And I'm telling you, from clients and candidates' perspectives, they feel like you have been their confidant. You have been their close business associate, a friend even, and then they feel like you've dropped them like a hot potato. They feel like they've been, I've heard this expression, dumped. They said, oh, the recruiter dumped me. And it's that emotive language. They really feel like, oh my God, I was in such a special, really, really good place. And then boom, I was out in the freezing cold. So don't do that. All right. Really, really don't do that. Keep in touch with people. And look, here's my thing. If I don't schedule it, it doesn't happen. So when you start wrapping up your deals, I want you looking at your CRM that you use, or whatever, it's a touch file, contact file, whatever it is, your diary even, and I want you scheduling calls to your client, to your candidate, to the referral giver, to references, whatever. Schedule regular contacts with them, all right? Those are the people that you want to speak to. Okay, after the guarantee period, at the end of the guarantee period and after the fee's been paid, send a letter, a formal letter to your client, just saying to them, acknowledging their satisfaction, So, look, I know from speaking to you, really pleased with the candidate and the process and everything else. I just want to, reiterate our commitment to you, Mr. Client, and your business as our strategic partner. Just, whatever wording, I've just given you, I don't know, just made that up. But what you want to do is tell them, how pleased you are. I'm really, really pleased. This is our ongoing commitment to working with you, etc., etc. Just put in a letter to them, okay? Now, before you groan, if you don't already have one, or have one already, add your clients and your candidates' birthday dates to your send cards to list, or to your scheduler, okay? Get their birthdays if you haven't got them already. So you would have got the candidates one, but put that in your diary in a schedule, recurring event. John Davis birthday. Put your clients in there if you're taking the brief or whatever. It's like, I don't know, if you haven't got it, just check in with them. Look, Sue, when is your birthday this year? It's like, have I missed it? No, and here it is. If you've got that date, a lot of us ask the dates, but we don't do anything with them. I'm saying to you, the moment you've got that date, update your CRM, put it as a recurring event with I don't know, an alarm or something that springs off at the beginning of the month to tell you that birthday is coming up. Now, when I first heard this initiative, I've got to say to you, I poo-pooed it, all right? I was like, really? Birthday cards? Like, really? The guy that introduced it to me was a veteran recruiter, and I kind of laughed. I was like, oh, really? Right. But I watched him, and he didn't have a computer system or whatever. He just used to keep his diary or whatever, or a calendar, year calendar. And what he would do is he'd just put down the name of the candidate, their birthday, and under the date put the name of the candidate, name of the client, any contact that he had, even had our names and stuff in there for birthdays. At the beginning of each month, so the first day of each month, he would open up his calendar and he would get a stack of birthday cards. He would write out, handwritten, card and envelope. He would write out a whole list of cards, sometimes 5 cards, sometimes 50 cards. It didn't really matter, but just at the beginning of the month, first day of the month, every single month, he would do this. I used to laugh at it when I first saw it. What I didn't laugh at was the amount of business that this guy wrote. Now, you might think, it's like, oh, well, birthday cards, especially from companies and clients, when they're automated and it just looks like, there's no writing in it, where it just says happy birthday and it's like an empty card that comes through the post with a pre-printed envelope, yeah, fine. I mean, even that would be better than no card. But this guy, that process, he got more referrals than any other recruiter I've ever worked with. 27 years. So you might poo-poo the thing like I did, but it's like, don't be daft like I was, all right? If you poo-poo it, fine. Have a look across at the table at one of your colleagues now, because they're going to do it and they're going to beat your hands down in terms of the number of referrals they're going to get over the next 12 months. Stay in touch and use your 2 new friends as sources, your clients and your candidates. Okay, stay in touch with them. Tip for you: if your candidate ever becomes unhappy after you've placed them and presumably past the guarantee period, if they ever come unhappy, and you know what it's like, they'll call you and they'll go, Roy, I'm thinking about my next move. Well, you know what? If they call you, that's brilliant, really, really good. It means that you built good rapport with them, and of course you're going to place them, because if you don't, someone else is going to. But where it often, or in the past for me, has left a difficult, unpleasant taste, is I do place the candidate. Of course they're placeable. I've placed them once, I'm going to be able to place them again. But then I get that awkward call or a letter from the client that originally I placed them with, saying, "Oh, Roy, I can't believe that you've moved them on to something else." The way, and look, you won't stop your client being disappointed, all right? But the way that you can underpin it, the way that you can kind of put your hands up and show that you acted in good faith and all honesty, is whenever a candidate approaches me that I've placed, I say to them, look, absolutely, of course I'd be happy to work with you and honoured to work with you again. Of course I'll be able to place you. There's no one better in our industry to place you. But what I need from you is just a letter or an email just saying that you've approached me. Is that okay? Because that helps me. It covers me with my boss. It also covers me if the client were to come back or whatever. Is that okay? And I've never had a candidate say no to that. It covers you, all right? It's not going to make your client feel any better, but at least it makes it shows and it's evident you acted in good faith. Right, final bit before we start wrapping up for this session. I want you to celebrate, okay? I told you before, ring bells, play Gold by Spandau Ballet, play, I don't know, Kung Fu Fighting, those little nunchuck hamsters. Do anything you can. Slide down the middle of your floor with your shirt over your head, knee slide through your office. I don't care what you do, but celebrate. It's really, really, really important. If any of you rookies are out there sitting around the table thinking, oh, okay, celebrate, yeah, that sounds good, and you're probably thinking, oh my God, I didn't realize how often I was going to hear no in this, my job as a recruiter. Your boss may or may not have told you this is a no industry. Okay, it's a no industry. What that means is you're going to hear the word no more often than any other word in the English language. Okay, you're going to hear that word more often than anything else. And because of that and rejection, you're going to be rejected a lot. All right, so if you're thin-skinned, this is probably not the career for you, but you would have known that by now, and I'm sure you wouldn't be there. So if you're here and you're listening to this, I know that you understand that concept about it being a no industry. Because of that, it's I don't know, I just bang the drum on this so many times. Like, it's really, really important that you celebrate every single piece of success that you can, because celebrating the small wins means that you'll get more of those small wins, and then you'll get bigger wins. And it's like a cycle. It's a perpetual cycle that goes on. If what you do is you just celebrate rejection, you're just going, oh God, yeah, I'm so unlucky. All of my deals are going down. Oh, candidates accepted a counteroffer. Oh God, oh no. That's a vicious, vicious circle. What happens is you'll manifest negativity. It's funny, the more you dwell on it, the more of that you get. So the more you dwell on celebration, the more of that you get. All right. So please, please buy a bell. I know some of you have already. I've got that feedback from you. Okay, wow, we are coming to the end of our session today. End of our session today, and actually the end of our 6 weeks together. All right, 6 weeks on this program. Remember, we have covered so much. I'm not going to go through every single thing that we've covered in the 6 weeks, but if you're watching this program, if you're seeing a replay of this program, I want you to, in fact, don't even consider it. I want you to go back and start again. Watch week 1, watch week 2, watch week 3, 4, 5, and 6. Review this material, review the exercises I've sent you, review the PDF instructions, the further reading, review the book recommendations, read those books again, okay? That's the only way that this information is going to become part of your DNA, okay? So remember, we've covered client control, we've covered candidate control, interview, placement, and then finally today we've completed or done post-placement control. These are all of the areas that you need to control or influence. Remember that word, influence, in the recruitment process in order to maximize your chances of success, in order to minimize the chances of failure. All right. I want you to see this as a result of process rather than luck. I don't want to ever hear from you guys. Don't want to ever hear from you guys about, oh, Roy, I've been really unlucky. All right. I'm going to make a solemn promise to you right now. Okay. You ready? Good. Okay. Here's the promise. If you do all of the things that you and I have worked on for the last 6 weeks, okay, all of the things, you use the templates, you use the forms, you use the suggested script, if you practice all the things that we've talked about over 6 weeks, and you have any placement at all fall down on you, I want you to call me, or I want you to email me, all right? So whatever, I want you to contact me. Here's my solemn promise. I will be the biggest shoulder for you to cry on. Okay, that's right. I'm a empathetic person. You know that. We've worked together for 6 weeks now. I'm a caring, sharing, loving kind of person. So I will be that shoulder for you to cry on. But here's the caveat. Okay, there's always going to be a caveat. Here's the exception. If you phone me and you say to me, God, Roy, I've done all these things and deal's still gone down, I'll go, that's really, really sad. I'm sorry to hear that. Here's the shoulder, start crying. But I will ask you a couple of questions. I'll say to you, did you take a complete job brief? You'll go, did you qualify the candidate against that job brief? Did you nail the salary? Did you close and pre-close and trial close on salary all the way through? On the interviews, did you prep the candidate? Did you debrief the candidate? Did you prep the client? Did you debrief the client? On the bringing the offer together, did you do the theatre of offers? On the completion, it's like, did you bring it together? Did you check in with the candidate? Did you manage the notice period? Did you send out the thank you card? If you've got a or a no to any of those questions, here's the second half of my solemn promise, all right? I don't care where you are in the world. Okay, listen really carefully. I don't care where you are in the world. I'm going to get on a plane, a train, a car. I will get to your office and I will pull my hand back and I will clip the back of your head. Bitch slap. All right. I'm not even allowed to say that word. That's not a right word, is it? I will smack you. All right. I'll hit you hard. It will be painful. You go, ow! Why? Because I want you to remember, this isn't about luck. This is about you controlling, okay? This is about you controlling every single thing. It's about you influencing your client and candidate throughout the process, from the very first time you speak to them till the very last time you speak with them and beyond, all right? Control is the name of the game. Okay, a couple of things I want to do with you now, just to round off this session. How are we doing for time? We're okay, right. Let's get this done. Books. I'm always saying to you guys, books. I hope that you've got all of my recommendations so far. I hope that you've been reading those, rereading those, highlighting chapters. Don't be scared. If they're physical books, don't be scared to highlight them. If they're Kindle electronic books, you can highlight really easily. Read those highlights, print them off, make them part of your training notes, all right? My final book recommendation, there's 2 this week. The final book recommendation, I've been told off internally. They said to me, Roy, you know something? You keep recommending other people's books, and that's fine, but you've got a book. I was like, oh, yeah, we have, haven't we? So I know some of you have got my book. It's called, guess what? Recruitment Blueprint, Control the Deal and Make More Placements. Let me get you off this, actually. I can talk to you. See if I can get you out of here and onto my, let's have a look. There. Am I back? Yep. Okay, good. All right. Sorry, I was just talking to you. I'm like, oh, why can't I see you, or why can't you see me? So, books, right. So there are 2 books this week, and the first one I'd like you to read is Recruitment Blueprint. Control the Deal and Make More Placements. It's my book, all right? Now, I don't know if you know this. Some of you have got the book. I know you love it. And some of you have said to me in the forums and questions, you've gone, well, you keep referring to this book and templates and stories and everything else. what book is it? And I was like, oh, I mentioned the book. Guys, I need you to know I am an Amazon #1 bestseller on Amazon in 3 separate categories. 3 separate categories for my book, Recruitment Blueprint, Control the Deal and Make More Placements. I was so proud. You don't know how proud I was. I phoned my mum and went, Mum, you never guess what? I'm an Amazon #1 best-selling author. She was like, really? What do you do? 27 years. My mum's always asked, what is recruitment, right? So I've given up now. So get that book if you can, all right? Get onto Amazon. It's available in Kindle, very shortly available, I think, in hardback, but I haven't seen the final schedule for that. If you've got any questions about that book or whatever, just email either info@royripper.com or email DEE@royripper.com. Get the details of where you can get it. But get to Amazon, buy that book. The second book, I'm just in the middle of this book, but I love it so much I wanted to recommend it to you. It's called The 10 Principles Behind Great Customer Experiences. It's written by a guy called Matt Wilkinson. Okay, Matt Wilkinson. Both of those book details, by the way, will be in the PDF that I send you. But exemplary customer service, that's what this session was about. That's why I want you to read it. Okay, what else I want to tell you about? Next week, our bonus session. Wow, man, we're going to have a great time. Trust me, be the best party you've ever been to. Right. Next week's session is going to be really different, all right? I promised you at the very beginning of this whole program this bonus session. And what I want to do is I want you to join me next week, same time, same place. Join me for a live Q&A deal surgery session, all right? What does that mean? I want you to bring any deal that any placement that you're currently working on or that you've worked on in the past and have problems with that you would like my help on, my advice, my input, all right? Anyone who brings a deal with them next week, I'll just, in fact, I'm going to tell you another way that you can do this, but I'm going to get every single deal that you've got that you're having problems with or you've had problems with, and I will deal with as many as I can deal with next week in the time that we've got allotted, all right? Now, in order for you to do this, I'm going to ask you to, let's have a look at this. Yeah, here it is. Let me try and pop it in for you. Display an offer. Okay, so if you guys are watching this live, on the right-hand side of your screen, it should have something saying go to the LinkedIn group Recruitment Blueprint. If you're watching the replay and you're not seeing the pop-up, don't worry. Go to LinkedIn, find Recruitment Blueprint, the private members group. If you're not on that, okay, then contact our guys or through LinkedIn, just apply to join the group. If you're a Recruitment Blueprint delegate or if you've bought the book or whatever, you can get into that group. It is a locked group. It's a private group. Please don't post jobs up, recruitment jobs. That's really boring. But do post up if you can. In fact, on this instance, what I'm going to ask you to do is I want you to post up any question that you have, any question about this program that we've done for 6 weeks or any deal that you've worked on where you've had problems with currently or in the past. I will help you, okay? I will help you. What I'm also going to do is choose, I don't know, maybe 3 of you to join me live on next week's session. So I'm going to pick, I don't know, 2 or 3 of those questions, and I'm going to have you join me as a live presenter. Please don't worry, all right? I'm going to be really kind to you. You're going to, I'm going to support you, but you can get on live. You can have your face up on screen and film for posterity, and you get to ask me the question. That's pretty good, isn't it? Now, I don't promise I'm going to have all the answers for you, but what I will do is I promise to be able to help you, okay? I'm going to give you everything that I can, my full playbook out, all right? I'm going to give it all to you. Okay, so please get into, click that. I have brought that up, haven't I? Yes. Click the, brilliant, okay, I'm getting a thumbs up from my end here. Click that link. Don't do it now, all right? You can click it and it will come up in a separate tab in your browser, but don't do the bit just yet because I'm going to give you some more stuff. I've got an amazing fun competition for you, all right? Let me just show you something. You got one of those. There are other smartphones available. It doesn't need to be an iPhone, right? That's iPhone 4, I think. I've got the older one, right? But I love it. I don't care if you've got a Samsung or I don't know, Nokia, as the Americans say, or whatever smartphone you've got. If you can shoot video on it, all right, I'm going to get you to do a little thing, all right? First of all, if you're ever shooting video, please use it in landscape mode, right? Look at my dirty phone. My smeared up, yeah, it's worse. Please shoot in landscape mode. What I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to ask you to get someone in your office to film you or do a selfie, and I want you to record a 3 to 5 minute clip. It doesn't need to be even that long, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute clip, no more than 5 minutes. But I want you to film a segment, a clip of you talking about Recruitment Blueprint. Talk about the 6-week program. If you've got any results from going through this program already, put those in. If you just loved it and you feel more confident, put that in, all right? Just do me a favor, get on camera and just record. Don't worry about, oh, Roy, you know, I don't look really good on camera. Just film it, all right? Just film it. But here's what I'm going to give you in return. I want you to send that video clip as an attachment to D, okay? So that's DEE@royripper.com. Send them in to her. The deadline for this is next Monday, all right? So we're going to do our bonus session next Tuesday. The deadline for this is next Monday. So what I want you to do is send those clips through to D@royripper.com. Dee's going to take all those clips and she's going to choose her favorite one. All right. Now, I don't know what the criteria is. I don't think she, at the moment, she's only just heard about this competition. I don't think she knows what criteria is. So you just got to make it fun. You've got to make it energetic. You've got to be passionate. I don't want you necessarily to be gushy about me, right? But if you are, then that's fine also. But I just want you to record honesty. I don't want you to, you know, don't make stuff up. If it was good and you enjoyed it, say it. If it wasn't, then say it. You might not win the competition, clearly, but just record something, send it through to D. Now, what are you going to win? She's going to pick one winner. That one person, that one lucky person, is going to get a one-to-one private coaching call with me. A 30-minute call, 40-minute call, 30 minutes, one-to-one private coaching with me, yours truly. And I will help that person. So, you know, I mean, it's like, you know, in 6 weeks I've delivered this kind of value. Imagine the value that I can deliver to you if I work with you directly. Now, I'm not bragging with this. I think when people, you know, people do this, recruitment business owners do it with me. They'll, you know, private coaching clients, etc. They pay £500 for that type of call. All right, so that's the prize: £500 of one-to-one coaching with me. All right, and I promise I'll add value wherever I can. So there's the prize. What else do I need to tell you? Final piece before I let you go. I can see we're doing all right on time. A few of you have asked me, Roy, do you do in-house training? Okay, do you come out and you know, do this stuff in-house for my team? And two of you that are joining, that have been on this program for 6 weeks, already 2 of you have asked, and I'm going in. I've been booked in to come in and train your teams. And what they've asked me to do is just a summing up session, a recap session, or whatever for Recruitment Blueprint. And I'm really pleased to do that. It's like, you know, I get to be in front of recruiters and live with you guys. That's the bit that, you know, I love doing this, but I also love getting in and amongst you and getting busy. So for the 2 of you that have done that, thank you. Thanks very much. For the rest of you, you can have that opportunity, right? Sometimes we go, Roy, are you still training? You still do that stuff? Yes, I do. But I don't do it for everybody, all right? So I don't train the general recruiting public. I now only work with my private coaching group, Recruitment Masterminds. Some of you are on this program now. I also only work with Recruitment Blueprint customers of mine, so people that have done this program and you know, the related programs that we've got with this. So those are the only ones that I do it with. So It is fairly exclusive, and I'm, was it reassuringly expensive? No, that's not the right word. You know what I mean. I love doing what I do. I don't do it for very many, but I'd love to do it with you guys. If that's something that you and your company are interested in, then again, just contact D at recruit at royripper.com, at royripper.com, and Dee will give you all the details. Tell her about what it is you want to do. Tell her about when roughly you want to do it. She'll check the diary. She'll discuss rates and all those kinds of things, and get that booked for you. Okay. We've come to the end of our session, and I'm feeling, well, stoked in terms of energetics still. I'm going to go and have another coffee and everything now. But I've really, really enjoyed today. I hope you've really enjoyed today. I hope that you've got maximum value out of this program. I just know from the feedback that I've received already, some of those testimonials that you've sent through and lovely kind emails, that there's a lot of love out there, and a lot of people saying, wow, Roy, this is like one of the best courses that I've ever done. So I'm really pleased. My aim with all of this is to put stuff out there, hope that people like it, but continually over deliver. And by listening to some of you and whatever, I've definitely ticked that box. So I'm pleased, I'm proud. Until I see you next time, next week maybe, until I see you next time, remember, work hard on your recruitment desk, not just be busy working, in it. So work hard on your desk, take that helicopter view and work out, how can I do this better? How can I improve? Rather than just be the mouse on the wheel, busy, 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 right? The final sign off for today, my sign off. Remember, make a difference in the lives of your clients, your candidates, and most importantly, the colleagues around you. Till I see you again, take care. Bye-bye.